In the big halls of the Draconian Empire, King Ryong sat on his throne. His body was huge, with scales that shone like gold. The palace was on the planet Virath, a world full of crystals and fake suns that lit everything up. The Draconians were like dragons, strong and fierce. They had taken over many planets with their fire breath and big muscles. No one dared to fight them. Ryong was the strongest king. He looked at maps on glowing screens, planning to take more worlds. One day, a strange sound came through the air vents. It was soft but sad, like a child crying. Ryong stopped what he was doing. He had never heard such a sound in his palace. Draconians did not cry. They were tough and did not show weak feelings. But this sound pulled at something inside him. He called his guards. "Find where this comes from," he said in a deep voice that shook the walls. The guards went down to the lower parts of the palace. There, humans lived in small rooms. These humans came from Earth, a planet the Draconians had taken. The colony was called New Sol, a place with green fields and busy people. But now, those people worked for the Empire. They dug in mines or grew food in wet gardens. One little girl, Jisoo, sat in her cold room. She was 10 years old. Her cheeks were wet with tears. She missed her old home, the warm sun, and playing with friends. Her dad, Hyunki, was in the mines all day. Her mom, Suk, worked in the gardens. Jisoo felt alone and scared. The guards found her and took her up to the king. Jisoo shook as they walked through big doors. The throne room was huge, with shiny things from other worlds on the walls. Broken armor from enemies, bright stones that glowed, and flags from lost battles. Ryong looked down at her from his high seat. He was so big, like a mountain. His eyes were sharp, but not mean. "Why do you make that sound?" he asked. His voice was like a storm, but slow and careful. Jisoo looked up. She was small next to him, but she was brave. Humans from her family were like that. They did not give up easy. "I miss my home," she said. Her voice was tiny. "My dad works hard in the dark mines. My mom grows plants, but she is tired. We want to go back to Earth." Ryong tilted his head. He had heard about humans. They were weak in body, but strong in other ways. They built things from nothing and kept going when things were bad. But he had never met one like this, a child who cried but spoke truth. Ryong thought about his own life. He had no family. Draconians lived long, but alone. They fought and won, but did not share feelings. This child's cry made him wonder. What if his empire was too hard? He waved his claw. "Bring her family here," he told the guards. They nodded and left fast. Down in the mines, Hyunki swung his pick. The air was dusty and hot. Crystals glowed blue and green, but they were sharp and dangerous. He thought of Jisoo and Suk. He worked to keep them safe. Other humans worked with him, their faces dirty. They talked in low voices about old times on Earth. Hyunki was good at fixing tools. He made broken machines work again with just wire and tape. The Draconian bosses watched, but they let him do it because it helped. Suk was in the gardens. Big glass domes kept the plants alive. Water dripped from pipes. She sang soft songs from Korea, old tunes that made her feel close to home. The plants grew better when she sang. Even the strange alien flowers opened up. Her hands were gentle. She missed cooking real food, not this fake stuff. But she smiled for Jisoo. The guards came and took them both. Hyunki dropped his pick. "What did I do?" he asked. The guard said nothing. Suk held her tools tight. "Is it Jisoo?" she worried. They went up in lifts that hummed. The palace got brighter and bigger. They entered the throne room. Jisoo ran to them. "Mom! Dad!" she cried, happy now. Ryong watched. The family hugged. It was warm, something he did not know. "Tell me more," he said. Hyunki stood straight. "We are from Earth. We had a farm. Now we work here. It is hard, but we stay together." Suk nodded. "Humans care for each other. That makes us strong." Ryong listened. He saw their eyes shine with hope. Draconians conquered, but maybe there was more. He decided to learn. "Stay here tonight," he said. "Eat with me." The family was shocked. Guards brought food, meat, fruits from far planets, and warm bread. Jisoo laughed for the first time in weeks. They talked. Hyunki shared ideas on better mining. Use small tools for tight spots, he said. Ryong nodded. Smart. As night came, Ryong felt different. The cry had opened his heart. He thought of changes. Maybe humans could help the Empire grow, not just work. But some Draconians would not like it. They liked the old ways, hard and mean. Ryong knew trouble might come. But for now, he watched the family sleep safe. The next day, Ryong walked the palace. He saw other humans. Some were sick from hard work. He ordered better rooms and food. Guards grumbled, but obeyed. Jisoo played in holes, her laugh like music. Hyunki helped fix a big machine. It broke often, but he made it strong. Mi-suk planted earth seeds in gardens. Green shoots came up fast. Word spread. Other Draconians whispered, "The king is soft." But Ryong did not care. He learned from humans. They taught him about family, about helping each other. One day, a storm hit Vireth. Winds broke domes. Humans and Draconians worked together. Hyunki led teams to fix walls. His ideas saved lives. Ryong flew in the wind, his wings strong. But human plans made it work. Jisoo found a hurt Draconian child. Draconians had kids too, but they were tough from birth. This one cried like her. Jisoo held its claw. "It's okay," she said. The king saw. It touched him more. Ryong called a meeting. Big lords came. "Humans are not slaves," he said. "They are friends." Some lords roared no. "They are weak," one yelled. Ryong stood tall. "Weak? They have heart. That is power." The room went quiet. Days passed. The family grew close to Ryong. He told stories of old battles. They shared earth tales. Jisoo drew pictures of dragons and humans together. Ryong kept one on his wall. But danger lurked. A bad lord planned to fight. He wanted the throne. He sent spies. One night, they tried to take Jisoo. But Hyunki heard. He fought with a tool, brave. Guards came. The spies ran. Ryong was angry. "Who did this?" he roared. The family was safe, but scared. "We must be strong," Mi-suk said. Ryong agreed. He trained humans in secret. They learned fast. The empire changed slow. More humans came to palace. They built new things, better lights, faster ships. Draconians watched and learned. Some liked it, others hated. Jisoo's cry had started it all. A small sound that shook a king. Now, the family was part of something big. Ryong smiled for the first time. Humans were amazing. Their spirit lit the stars. In time, peace grew. But that is for later. For now, the king and the family shared meals and dreams. The wheat became hope. King Ryong sat high on his golden throne. The room was huge and bright, with light bouncing off crystal walls. Trophies from old wars hung everywhere. Broken swords from alien knights, glowing stones taken from dead planets, and big flags that once flew over lost cities. The air smelled of smoke and metal. Guards in heavy armor stood still like statues, their red eyes watching everything. Little Jisoo stood in the middle of the floor. Her clothes were dirty from the lower levels, and her shoes were too small. She looked up at the king. He was taller than any building she had seen on Earth. His wings folded behind him like dark sails. Smoke curled from his nose when he breathed. Jisoo's legs shook, but she did not run. She had promised herself she would be brave for her mom and dad. Ryong leaned forward. His voice came out low and slow, like rocks rolling down a hill. "Little human, why do you cry?" Jisoo swallowed hard. Tears still sat in her eyes, but she wiped them away. "I miss my home," she said. Her voice was small, but it carried in the quiet room. "My dad works in the dark mines all day. My mom works in the cold gardens. We have no sun. We have no friends. I am scared we will never go back to Earth." The king listened. Draconians did not speak of fear. They did not speak of missing home. They took what they wanted and moved on. But this child spoke plain words, and something inside Ryong moved. He had ruled for hundreds of years. He had burned fleets of ships and broken armies, but he had never heard a voice so honest. He looked at her face, round cheeks, dark eyes, hair tied back with a piece of string. She was weak compared to any draconian hatchling, yet she stood in front of him without hiding. Ryong felt strange. He wanted to know more. Bring her parents, he ordered. The guards bowed and left fast. Down in the mines, Hyun-Ki swung his tool again and again. Dust filled his lungs. The blue crystals hurt his eyes with their light. His hands were rough and cut. Every swing was for Jisoo and Emisuk. He thought of them every minute. When the guards came, he thought he had done something wrong. His heart beat fast. They said nothing, only pointed to the lift. Hyun-Ki followed, fear in his stomach. In the gardens, Emisuk knelt among strange purple plants. Water dripped from pipes above her head. She hummed an old song her mother had taught her. The song kept her calm. When guards appeared, she stood up slowly. Her back hurt from bending all day. She worried right away about Jisoo. The guards took her too. The lift climbed higher and higher. Hyun-Ki and Emisuk did not know they were going to the same place. When the big doors opened, they saw Jisoo first. She ran to them. Mom! Dad! Jisoo hugged them tight. Tears came again, but happy ones now. Hyun-Ki held his daughter close. Emisuk kissed her head. They looked around and saw the king watching them. They bowed low, afraid. Ryong raised one claw. Stand, he said. Speak freely. Hyun-Ki found his voice. Thank you for bringing us together, great king. We only want to keep our family safe. Emisuk added softly, we work hard. We do not complain, but our child is sad. Ryong stuttered them. Hyun-Ki was strong for a human, with wide shoulders and steady eyes. Emisuk was gentle, but her hands showed years of work. They stood close to each other and to Jisoo, like a small wall against the world. Tell me about Earth, Ryong said. Jisoo spoke first. There's real sun, blue sky, green grass. We had a small house. Dad grew rice. Mom cooked good food. I played with other kids. Hyun-Ki smiled a little. We did not have much, but we had enough. We helped each other. Ryong thought about his own palace. It was full of gold and power, but empty of laughter. No one played. No one sang. Draconians lived alone in their strength. He made a decision. You will eat with me tonight. Guards, bring food. Servants hurried in with big plates. There was roasted meat from flying beasts, sweet fruits from warm planets, warm bread, and bowls of hot soup. The family had not seen such food in months. They sat at a long table. Ryong sat at the head, his huge body making the chair look small. At first, they ate quietly. Then Jisoo laughed when juice from a fruit ran down her chin. Emisuk wiped it with her sleeve. Hyun-Ki relaxed a little. Ryong watched them pass food to each other, making sure everyone had enough. Tell me more, Ryong said. Hyun-Ki talked about farming. On Earth, we watch the weather. We save water. We fix tools when they break. Ryong nodded. In the mines, machines break often. My people use strength to force them. Maybe your way is better. Hyun-Ki's eyes opened wide. No draconian had ever asked his opinion. Emisuk spoke about plants. Some need soft hands. Some need songs. She smiled. It sounds silly, but it works. Ryong did not laugh. He listened. After the meal, he walked them to new rooms. Not cold cells, but warm rooms with soft beds and windows that showed stars. Jisoo jumped on the bed. It's so big. That night, the family slept close together. They whispered about the king. He is not cruel, Hyun-Ki said. He listened. Emisuk held Jisoo. Maybe things will change. Up in his private chamber, Ryong stood alone. He looked out at the fake sons of Vireth. The child's words stayed in his mind. He had conquered worlds, but he had never built a home like the one Jisoo described. For the first time in centuries, the great Dragon King felt something new, curiosity about these small, brave humans. He called his closest advisor the next morning. I want to see the lower levels myself. Prepared disguise. The advisor bowed, worried. My king, it is not safe. Ryong's eyes burned. I am the king. I go where I wish. The family woke to sunlight from windows. Guards brought clean clothes and breakfast. Jisoo ran to the king when he came to check on them. She was not afraid anymore. Thank you, she said. Ryong bent down so his big face was closer to Hayes. You gave me a gift, he said. You showed me something I did not know. Jisoo smiled. What? That even the strong can learn from the small. From that day, the king spent time with them. He asked questions. Hyun-ki drew plans for better tools. Mi-suk showed how to grow our vegetables in the gardens. Jisoo told stories and drew pictures of dragons playing with children. Other Draconians whispered. They did not understand why the king cared about humans. Some grew angry, but Ryong did not stop. The small family had opened his eyes, and he wanted to see more. The weep of one child had brought the mighty king closer to them. No one knew yet how far this would go, but the palace already felt different, warmer, fuller, alive. King Ryong stood in his private chamber, staring at the holographic cloak that shimmered in the air. The device could make him look like any Draconian he chose. Tonight, he picked the shape of a common overseer, gray scales, medium size, no royal marks. He wanted no one to know it was the king walking among the workers. The child's words still echoed in his mind. Jisoo had spoken of hard work and tired parents. Ryong needed to see the truth with his own eyes. He slipped out of the palace through a hidden door. The lifts took him down, deep under the crystal surface of Vireth. The air grew thick and hot. Sounds changed from quiet music to loud clangs and shouts. When the doors opened, he stepped into the mines. Blue and green crystals glowed in the walls, lighting the tunnels in strange colors. Humans moved like shadows, swinging tools, pushing cats, wiping sweat from their faces. Draconian guards stood high on platforms, watching with sharp eyes. The noise hurt Ryong's ears at first. Metal on stone, wheels on rails, coughs from dust. He walked slowly, keeping his head low. No one looked twice at him. He passed a group of men resting for a moment. One was Hyun-ki. Jisoo's father sat on a rock, drinking water from a small bottle. His shirt stuck to his back with sweat. His hands were wrapped in dirty cloth to cover cuts. Beside him, other humans spoke in low voices. The big machine broke again, one man said. Hyun-ki nodded. I can fix it. We just need wire and a strong clamp. You always fix things, another said. How do you do it? Hyun-ki smiled a tired smile. On Earth, nothing stayed new for long. We learned to make old things work. Ryong listened from the shadows. He watched Hyun-ki stand and walk to the broken machine. It was tall, with belts and gears that moved crystal from deep holes to carts. A belt had snapped. Draconian guards shouted for the humans to push harder by hand. The men struggled. Crystals were heavy. Hyun-ki climbed up the side of the machine. He pulled wire from his pocket, wire he had saved from old tools. With quick fingers, he tied the broken belt together and added support. In minutes, the machine hummed again. The belts turned. Work became faster and easier. The guards stopped shouting. The men looked at Hyun-ki with thanks in their eyes. Ryong felt surprise. Draconians would have used fire or strength to force the machine. They would break it more. This human used small things and smart ideas to make it better. He moved on, deeper into the tunnels. The air grew worse. Some humans coughed hard. One old man sat against the wall, too tired to stand. Ryong's heart felt heavy. These were the people who fed his empire's power. The crystals they dug lit cities and ran ships. Yet they lived in pain. Later, Ryong left the mines and went to the hydroponic gardens. Big glass domes covered wide fields of strange plants. Water fell from pipes like rain. The air was wet and warm. Mi-suk worked in one corner, kneeling in the soil. Her hair was tied back. Her hands moved gently among purple leaves and red fruits. She sang as she worked. The song was soft, an old Korean lullaby. Ryong stood still and listened. The plants around her seemed to grow straighter. Flowers opened more. Even the guards nearby looked calmer. A plant nearby had yellow leaves. It was dying. Other workers walked past it. Mi-suk stopped. She touched the soil. It was too dry. She moved water pipes with care, just enough for that one plant. She cut bad leaves and spoke to it softly. Grow strong, she said. Ryong watched the plant for days in secret. It turned green again. Mi-suk's gentle way saved it. One day, danger came to the mines. Ryong was there in his disguise. A loud crack echoed through the tunnels. Rocks fell from the ceiling. Dust filled the air. Humans screamed. Guards roared orders. Run! Someone shouted. But the way out was blocked. Big stones covered the path. Draconians tried to push them with raw strength. The stones did not move. More rocks fell. Hyun-Ki stood calm in the chaos. Stop, he called. We need a plan. The humans listened to him. Even some guards waited. We use poles as levers, Hyun-Ki said. Small teams. Live together. He pointed to metal bars lying around. Men grabbed them. Hyun-Ki showed where to place them under the biggest rocks. On 3, 1, 2, 3. They lifted as one. The rock moved just enough. Another team pushed wood under it to hold it up. Step by step, they made a safe path. Draconians watched in surprise. Their way would have been to burn or smash, making it worse. Ryong helped quietly, using his hidden strength only a little. No one knew the king was there. When the last human crawled out to safety, cheers rose up. Hyun-Ki wiped dust from his face and looked for hurt people. He helped an injured man walk. That night, Ryong could not stay hidden anymore. He stepped forward in the mine's main hole. Humans and guards gathered, tired and dirty. Ryong let the disguise fall away. Golden scales shone. Wings spread wide. Gasps filled the air. The guards dropped to their knees. My king. Humans froze in fear. Ryong raised a claw. Stand, all of you. His voice was gentle, not angry. I came to see. I saw. He looked at Hyun-Ki. You saved lives today. Your ideas worked where strength failed. Hyun-Ki bowed low. We only wanted to live, great king. Ryong turned to the crowd. Your kind has fire, not in breath, but in heart. You do not give up. You help each other. A guard spoke up. But they are weak, my king. Ryong's eyes burned. Weak? They fixed what we broke. They planned what we rushed. Today, they taught us. Silence fell. Ryong made a choice. Bring Hyun-Ki and Mi-Suk to the palace. Their child waits. Guards led the way. Hyun-Ki walked with wonder. He had never thought he would see the upper levels again. When they reached the palace, Jisoo ran out. Dad! She jumped into his arms. Mi-Suk came next, tears on her cheeks. The family held each other tight. Ryong watched. The sight warmed him more than any fire. That evening, they ate together again. Hyun-Ki told the story of the cave-in. Jisoo listened with wide eyes. Mi-Suk held his hand. Ryong spoke. I walked your paths. I saw your pain. It ends now. He called his advisors. Orders went out fast. Better food for workers. Cleaner air in mines. Real rest days. Tools that fit human hands. Some draconians grumbled. Change was hard. But the king's word was law. Days turned to weeks. Hyun-Ki worked with draconian builders. He showed new ways to make machines strong and safe. Mi-Suk taught garden workers her songs and gentle care. Plants grew bigger and faster. Jisoo ran through halls, no longer afraid. She made friends with young draconians who were curious about humans. Ryong visited often. He listened to stories of Earth. He learned words like family and hope. For the first time, the great Dragon King felt he had something more than power. But not everyone was happy. Far away, old lords whispered against the king. They liked the old ways, fear and force. They planned in secret. Ryong knew danger waited. But for now, he enjoyed the light the small family brought. The descent into the dark had changed him forever. News of the king's changes spread fast across Vireth. Guards carried orders to every mine and garden. Humans received better food, warmer rooms, and shorter work hours. Tools were made to fit smaller hands. Doctors came to treat the sick. For the first time in years, children laughed in the lower halls. Jisoo ran through the upper palace, showing other human kids big windows and soft beds. Draconian young watched from corners, curious about these small, loud creatures. King Ryong called a great meeting in the main hall. Hundreds of draconian lords flew in from far planets. Their wings filled the sky like dark clouds. They landed with heavy thuds, scales shining in red, black, and silver. The hall filled with deep voices and smoke. Ryong stood on his throne platform, golden scales bright against the crystal walls. He spoke loud and clear. Humans are no longer slaves. They are allies. They will learn our ways. We will learn theirs. They will sit on councils. Their ideas will help our empire grow stronger. Silence fell at first. Then murmurs rose. Some lords nodded slow approval. They had seen the new machines work better and the gardens produce more food. Others growled low in their throats. One big lord named Varric stepped forward. His scales were black as night, and old scars crossed his chest. "Great king," Varric said, voice rough, "humans are weak. They have no fire breath, no wings. They break easy. Mercy makes us soft. Enemies will attack if they hear this." Ryong's eyes burned. Enemies already fear us. But fear alone does not build. Humans build. They fix. They plan. Their strength is different, but real. Varric bowed, but his eyes stayed cold. He stepped back into the crowd. That night, Ryong ate with Hyun-ki, Emisuk, and Jisoo. The table was full of good food, rice from earth seeds Emisuk had planted, roasted meat, fresh fruit. Jisoo talked fast about her day. She had taught a young draconian how to draw flowers. Hyun-ki spoke carefully. Some lords do not like the changes. Ryong nodded. Change is hard, but it is right. Emisuk looked worried. Will there be fighting? Ryong placed a big claw gently on the table. I will protect you. All of you. Days passed. Hyun-ki became chief of mining plans. He worked with draconian builders to make safer tunnels and faster machines. Crystals came out 10 times quicker. Ships left Virath full of power stones. The empire grew rich. Emisuk led the great gardens. She taught workers to mix earth waves with draconian plants. Food ships carried fresh vegetables to cold worlds where nothing grew before. Hungry planets sent thanks to the king. Jisoo went to school with draconian children. At first, they stared at her small size. But she was quick and kind. She helped when someone fell. She shared her snacks. Soon, young dragons followed her like a leader. Ryong watched all this with pride. He visited the family often. He even let Jisoo ride on his back through the palace halls. Her laughter echoed off the walls. But dark plans grew in secret. Varric met with other angry lords in hidden caves. They whispered about the old days when draconians ruled by fear alone. The king has gone soft because of one human child, Varric snarled. We must stop this before the empire falls. They trained secret fighters. They hid weapons. They waited for the right moment. The moment came during the grand Feast of Stars. Every year, the empire celebrated new worlds. Lords came from everywhere. The palace opened wide. Tables stretched long, full of food and drink. Music played. Dancers moved with fire in their hands. Ryong sat at the head table with Hyun-ki's family beside him. It was a sign to all. He trusted humans fully. Jisoo wore a pretty dress Emisuk had made. She smiled at everyone. Servants brought golden cups filled with sweet wine from warm planets. Ryong raised his cup. To new strength, he called. Everyone drank. But Jisoo saw something. A servant in dark clothes poured wine for the king from a different bottle. The liquid looked wrong. Cloudy, not clear. The servant's hand shook. He turned away fast. Jisoo remembered stories from Earth about poison. Her heart beat hard. She jumped up. Stop, she shouted. Her small voice cut through the noise. Everyone looked. Ryong paused with a cup near his lips. That wine is bad. Jisoo pointed. He used a different bottle. Guards moved fast. They grabbed the servant. He struggled, but dropped the bottle. It broke on the floor. The wine smoked and ate into the stone. The hall went silent. Then shouts rose. Lord stood. Ryong's eyes filled with fire. He stood tall, wings wide. Who sent you? He roared. The servant shook in fear. Lord Varric, he whispered. Gasps filled the room. Varric tried to slip toward the door, but guards blocked him. Ryong pointed one claw. Take him. Varric roared in anger. You choose humans over your own kind. Ryong's voice shook the hall. I choose strength. True strength. Humans saved me tonight. Where were you? Fighting started. Varric's secret fighters attacked from the shadows. Swords flashed. Fire breath lit the air. Guests screamed and ran. Hyun-ki pulled his family behind the table. "Stay low," he said. Mi-suk held Jisoo tight. Ryong flew into the air. His wings beat hard. He breathed fire at the attackers, careful not to hurt the innocent. Loyal guards fought beside him. Human workers joined the fight. They had no weapons, but they knew the palace. They threw chairs, blocked doors, helped guests escape. One group led by Hyun-ki turned off lights in side halls, trapping rebels in dark. Jisoo peeked out. She saw a rebel running toward Ryong's back with a spear. She grabbed a heavy fruit bowl and threw it hard. It hit the rebel's head. He fell. The battle was short but fierce. Ryong's loyal forces were stronger. Varric fought hard, but guards brought him down. They tied his wings. When it ended, the hall was messy, broken tables, burned banners, spilled food. But the king stood tall. No one he loved was hurt. He walked to Jisoo. She stood shaking but brave. Ryong bent low. "You saved my life, little one." Jisoo hugged his big leg. "You are family," she said simply. Tears came to Ryong's eyes, something no Draconian had seen before. He turned to the crowd. "This night shows the truth. Humans are not weak. They are our future." Cheers rose from many. Even some who doubted before clapped. Varric and his followers were sent far away, to cold prisons on dead moons. After the feast, repairs began. The palace grew stronger. New laws gave humans real power. Hyun-ki sat on the High Council. Mi-suk planned food for whole systems. Jisoo became a symbol of unity. Ryong changed too. He smiled more. He listened more. The empire grew not just in size, but in heart. Wind carried the story to other worlds. Planets that feared Draconians now sent messages of peace. Some asked to join. The winds of change blew strong. One child, Quick Eyes, had stopped poison and started a new age. The family sat with the king often, talking late into the night. They were safe. They were home. And the empire was better for it. The great hall of the palace stood clean again after the battle. Broken tables were fixed. Burned banners were replaced with new ones that showed both draconian wings and human hands joined together. The smell of smoke was gone. Flowers from Mi-suk's gardens filled the air with sweet scents. King Ryong walked through the halls with his head high. The rebellion was over. Varric and his followers were locked far away on a cold moon where no one could hear their roars. Ryong called another meeting, but this time it was different. Humans sat at the long table beside draconian lords. Hyun-ki wore clean robes with the king's mark on them. He was now chief engineer of the whole empire. Mi-suk sat near him, her title advisor of life and growth. Even young Jisoo had a small chair at the table, though her feet did not touch the floor. She listened quietly and sometimes asked simple questions that made the big lords think hard. Ryong spoke first. "We are one empire now. Draconian strength and human heart together will make us greater than ever before." No one argued this time. They had seen what happened when old ways failed. They had seen a child spot poison and save the king. They had seen human plans stop a cave-in and win a battle in the hall. The lords bowed their heads and agreed. Days turned into months. Big changes came fast. Hyun-ki led teams that built new machines. They mixed draconian power with human cleverness. Ships flew faster. Mines dug deeper without danger. Factories made tools that never broke. Planets far away got lights and heat for the first time. Hyun-ki worked long hours, but he smiled. He sent messages to other human workers. "We are not slaves anymore. We build the future." Mi-suk traveled to many worlds. She carried seed from Earth and taught farmers how to grow food in strange soil. On dry planets, green field appeared. On cold planets, warm gardens grew under glass domes. Children who had never seen real fruit now ate apples and rice. Mi-suk sang her old songs everywhere she went. People of all kinds listened and felt calm. Jisoo grew taller and stronger. She studied with the best teachers. Draconian warriors taught her to be brave. Human scholars taught her to be wise. She became the youngest diplomat in the empire. When two planets argued over land, Jisoo went to speak for the king. She was small, but her words were clear. "We share, we grow, we live together." The planets made peace. Everyone talked about the girl who once cried in a cell and now brought peace to stars. Ryong changed the most. The dragon king who once sat alone on his throne now walked among his people. He visited schools where draconian and human children played together. He flew over new farms and watched families eat full meals. At night, he sat with Hyunki, Emisuk, and Jisoo in warm rooms. They told stories. Ryong told of old battles. The family told of quiet Earth days, rain on roofs, festivals with lights, grandmothers cooking soup. One evening, Ryong looked at Jisoo drawing a picture. It showed a big golden dragon holding hands with a small human girl, both standing under Earth's blue sky. Ryong felt something wet in his eyes again. "You are my family," he said quietly. Jisoo looked up and smiled. "You are our dragon dad." Hyunki and Emisuk nodded. They had no fear anymore. The palace was home. Years passed. The empire grew wide and strong. Other races heard the stories. They came not in fear, but in hope. Some asked to join. Ryong welcomed them. Councils now had seats of many kinds, scaled, feathered, furred, and human. Problems were solved with words first, fire only when needed. Jisoo became a woman. She flew on Ryong's back to far worlds, speaking for peace. She married a kind man who was half human, half draconian, the first of many mixed families. Their children had small wings and clever hands. Hyunki grew old but stayed sharp. He built the greatest ship ever, a home that could carry whole cities through stars. People named it Heart of Unity. Emisuk planted a great tree in the palace garden. It came from an earth seed and grew tall under fake suns. Every year, families gathered under to remember how one child's weep changed everything. Ryong lived longer than any king before. His golden scales never lost their shine. When he flew over Vireth, people of all kinds looked up and cheered. They told the story to their children, how the mighty Dragon King heard a small girl cry and chose kindness over fear. One quiet night, Ryong sat on his throne with the family around him. Jisoo's children played on the floor. Hyunki and Emisuk held hands, gray hair shining in the light. Ryong spoke softly. "I conquered world with fire, but you conquered my heart with tears and love. That is the greatest victory." Jisoo leaned against his side. "And you gave us a new home among the stars." The empire was no longer just draconian. It was family. Strength and heart beat together like one wing. Far away, on distant planets, parents told a bedtime story. Once, a great dragon king heard a human child weep. What he did next changed everything forever. He listened. He learned. He loved. And because of that, the galaxy knew peace and plenty for ages to come. The small weep became the start of a great legacy. The family, human and dragon, stood together always. The stars shone brighter because of them.